Let's do that. Let's do a Hellhorned Wormkin run. And it looks like that's what we tried last time we played as well. We didn't win. But maybe we will this time. Good old Shardtail Queen. Bit of a tricky champ to work with. Her stats aren't that high. I wonder if we should go with Echo Breaks over Fractures. Try that. Get the immediate damage instead of the delayed damage. So we'll be starting with the Shardtail Queen, 5 Queen's Implings, which deal damage when they're summoned, and 5 Echo Breaks, dealing damage based on our charged echoes. How will it go? Let's see. Imptacular is how. 2 Fledgling Imps to apply Rage, and 1 Pyre Chomper to apply Ember Gain. Definitely nice to see some starting imps alongside the Shardtail Queen. That certainly has some potential to be useful. I wonder if we could maybe get an endless imp this run that we could try to build around. Start of each Monster Train run, you can pick, you get an artifact to start as well as an upgrade line for your champ. And the order in which you pick these can matter a fair bit. You know, which information you get. Imagine if in Slay the Spire, you got to choose whether you looked at the boss relic or the rare card first. You have to do one, then the other, but you get to pick. Which one you picked first would probably depend on your situation, which class you're playing, and what you've already got. And so too is that the case here. I think depending on the champ, you may or may not want certain artifacts at the start. And I think for Shardtail Queen, I want to look at the artifact first. See if we're getting Ashes of the Fallen or anything like that. Ooh, Echo Seedling. Now, there's a card. First time each battle a card with Consume is played, put 2 additional copies into your hand. We don't have any cards that say Consume, and I'd say that's a good thing, because that means the first Consume card we add will be created in triplicate. So, that's pretty sweet. We just need 1 powerful Consume card, and already we can do some hot nonsense. Better off if we can upgrade that Consume card. Yeah, what if... I think this game could be improved by a 30-second long train animation between each decision node. Sure, definitely. Why not? Absolutely. Pick the other artifact as well. This Divine Hordes give us 15 shards. We get to choose from 3 artifacts. Ooh, Gurg's Goad. Heck yes. That's a strong one. Wing Clippings can also be pretty dang powerful for the Wormkin clan. Cards with Consume have a chance to be discarded instead. As before, though, we don't actually have any Consume cards yet. Gurg's Goad's one of the greats here. Any demon unit gets to multi-strike. That means we're going to want to pick up Hellhorned banner units rather than Wormkin banner units, which could prevent us from going to a Merchant of Steel early. Interesting. Actually, with these banners, maybe I don't. We could still get a demon unit from a unit draft as a combat trial, though. Yeah, where's the Imp in a box, eh? Sunday Gamer says, first time seeing Monster Train. As a Spire lover, this is on your 2 playlist. I highly recommend it. It's definitely very different than Slay the Spire. But it's different in ways that are really enjoyable to me. Apex Imp is a demon and an imp. Let's grab the Goad. Maybe we don't get to use it, but we probably can. Alright, no Suicide Imp option. Either we get a free Imp every turn, and Imps are cheaper on the Shardtail Queen's floor. That can be quite strong. Or we get a royalty variant who gains attack power every time a unit is played on her floor. I am not 100% sure how you're meant to use royalty. I mean, ideally, you have some constantly being summoned units that are thrown as chump blockers in front of her, perhaps. Seems tricky. Seems quite tricky. More of an Imp Parade person myself. Could be good with morsels. Alas, Rally specifies non-morsel unit, so you do not get the rally bonus for morsels. Votavary, or even just an Endless Imp. Mark Makar with a full year. Thank you for that full year of support. Let's do Imp Parade. Having the imps be cheaper is really nice, considering that we have so many of them in the starting deck. And this can cross-path into the version that throws imps at enemies for AoE damage. That can be quite nice. Higher base stats is also welcome. 15 health versus 10 is kind of a big difference. The Shardtail Queen really suffers from having low HP for a champ unit. Makes it very difficult to use her in the first couple of combats. Thankfully, these Echo Infusions can give her some more health. Otherwise, we'd be looking at some real trouble here. Enkidu, thanks for the almost full year. Loving some Monster Train. You've now won a run with every clan as the main on Covenant 25. Good stuff. Oh, and there's our unit draft. Perfect. If this can give us a demon, we can really get started quick here. We just have to survive the first combat with +4 attack power, which is not actually that easy. We could definitely, with an awkward draw order, have a bad time against these enemies, with the bonus damage from the trial and the fact that we took the 15 pact shards. Neither of our artifacts are actually doing anything yet. But here goes. So, for anyone who might be unfamiliar with the basics of Monster Train, you've got a deck builder style deck of cards and mechanics that are pretty similar at core to Slay the Spire. That is, you draw 5 cards per turn. You have 3 energy or ember per turn. Every unit lists the ember cost in the upper left of the card. But rather than having one hero who's fighting enemies, you have a 3-tiered vertical train with a pyre on top. The last shard of the Pyre of Hell, which is essentially our overall health bar. It doesn't matter if our champ or our units die. What the success or failure of the run is based on is the health of the pyre here, up top. Each turn, new enemies arrive at the bottom of the train, and will perform combat with any units on the floor that they're on, and then will advance up to the next floor of the train. So, first turn they're on the bottom, then in the middle, then on the top. After 3 turns of existence, they reach the last shard of the pyre and will attack it. That's true regardless of whether or not your units are still on the floor or not. And that makes one of the biggest priorities in Monster Train dealing enough damage to enemy units so that they do not get all the way to the top. Does any clan combo work? Yes, Agnor. Some better than others, definitely, but you can certainly break the game and win with any clan combination. Or even any single clan, really. Although each run has 2 clans, you don't need to take cards from both clans to win. You can do a single clan run, essentially. Although you will have random cards from the secondary clan and starter cards from the secondary clan. You can just remove those. But yes, all combos are 100% winnable. Monster Train is, in my eyes, a game, especially with the DLC, a game about finding and exploiting what are essentially game-breaking combos. Enemies at the beginning have, 10 to 50 health, and the first boss will have 1 to 200 health. By the time we get to the very end of the run, we're going to have to deal with enemies that have hundreds of health and bosses that have thousands. So we need to scale our damage from the start up by tenfold or more. And that's going to require creating some extremely powerful combinations. Some multiplicative scaling, as it were, is kind of required for Monster Train. And there's lots and lots of creative ways to do that, especially with the DLC. I do think that the DLC is a must-have for this game. It radically transforms the basic decision-making of the game in a good way. So, in every combat, one of the first questions you must ask yourself is, do you set your units up on the top floor, the bottom floor, or the middle floor? Bottom floor has the advantage of attacking enemies right as they arrive on the train, meaning you can continue to whittle them down as they go higher and higher up. If you deploy on the top floor, you have the advantage of it takes longer for the enemies to reach you, so you have more turns to get your cards in play and get set up. Different combats sometimes require different setups here. I think for this battle, I'm going to deploy on the bottom, see how this works. I'm going to get a new Queen's Impling every turn from the Shardtail Queen. I'm going to use those as suicide blockers, essentially. These imps deal 10 damage to the front unit when summoned, which is pretty good. We've also got this Fledgling Imp, which can empower all of our units with rage. And that'll let us kill this Forged Disciple. Rage adding attack damage. Each stack of Rage is 2 attack power, and then Rage goes down by 1. I'll put the Train Steward on the middle floor. These are like our basic units. 5/8 is a very bad stat line for a unit. In addition to their energy cost, every unit has a capacity cost. Each floor of the train has a limited amount of space for units, indicated by these yellow pips, with each unit taking up a different amount of space depending on how powerful that unit is. There's our collector. Middle, okay. Works for me. Got another fledgling imp, good. And a stinky archer. Die, stinky archer. That's right. Definitely want to stack health on the Shardtail Queen here. Have some rage. Perfect. You don't end up dead. Oh, I see. Okay. That's fine, though. You can die next floor. You can die next floor. Buff you. I think I'm not going to not play these cards for now. Alright, ultimately not very difficult enemies, actually. We didn't see a multi-attacking archer. It's rather convenient. Take that stupid priest out. Anytime you see an enemy who has a purple circle above their stat line, or a unit like this, any of these purple icons, they can be difficult to distinguish visually. But the main thing to be aware of is a purple circle means some kind of activated ability, an ability that triggers under a certain condition. I'm gonna not summon a unit this turn. That's fine. Now, here's the first of many bosses we'll be fighting during this run. Impressive to actually be winning outright on the bottom floor. This was an easy first combat. Bosses have the Relentless property, so rather than doing one round of combat and then moving up to the next floor, a boss will instead stick around and fight combat as long as there are units to fight, which can be a good thing. It means you get to whittle down their immense health pool over multiple rounds of fighting with your units. And this is where having durable units with pretty decent offense can matter quite a lot, as over multiple rounds of combat like this, taking down the boss is assured. If you let a boss reach your pyre, it's almost always going to be game over. So you must have a way to defeat the increasingly impressive stat line of the bosses. Even more Rage Imps here. Another Fledgling Imp? Or I could take a Molting Imp for AoE. I like another Rage Imp. Stewards were only one capacity. Would that make them meaningfully better? Yeah, actually, I think it would be quite a lot better. Especially because you could play all 4 of them on the same floor. Be pretty good. Definitely make the starting fights easier, and it would also make... it would make them more useful as base units to be upgraded. Oh no, Woods, that's brutal. Can you make a double Rage Imp by fusing 2 Rage Imps together? Yes, yes you can. By using the essence of one unit into another. That happens at a Divine Temple, something that you can only do with the DLC. And it's heckin' strong. Another Rage Imp here. Okay, these are the consume cards. These aren't great consume cards, though. Do I use mutators? Generally not, I ignore. We'll see some of them when we do the expert challenges, though. Which we will be doing. Yes, Indignant Possum. We will be doing the expert challenges. They're part of the logbook. So to complete the logbook, we must do the expert challenges. If I wanted to generate a lot of charged echoes, we could do this. My main issue here is that whenever we play one of these, we're going to get more copies via the Echo Seedling, which is not necessarily useful. I guess I wouldn't hate triple hosting kin. Shelter as a way to apply armor is also pretty powerful, actually. Shardtail Queen needs some more survivability, and Shelter can be quite good for that. Okay, you know what? Let's grab Shelter here. Armor 2 per charged echo to all units on the floor. In triplicate. Aha, and here's our demons. Oh my. Excellent options. Excellent, excellent options. Alpha Fiend is a classic demon. Expensive to get in play at 3 capacity 2 cost, but has a bonus to its attack power every time it attacks. +5 attack power per strike that it does. Notably, with multi-strike, it will strike twice and therefore attack up twice per round. Demon Fiend, meanwhile, is just an enormous chungus here. Big boy. 4 cost, 3 capacity. Pretty hard to get into play. Currently, we don't have 4 energy, so we cannot play the Demon Fiend. That's kind of bad. I guess I'm cool with an Alpha Fiend. We also haven't actually mastered the Alpha Fiend yet, so this could be a good opportunity to make that happen. Oh, that's true. We do have a Pyre Chomper, which could be a way. Wait a minute. The essence is -4 cost. Hold on. So we could take Demon Fiend and infuse the Pyre Chomper into the Demon Fiend to create 0 cost, 50 by 250 as a unit. That's pretty strong. And then I can duplicate that at the Hell Vent. Here, I like that. I like that a lot. That's going to give us some very powerful units. So we go to the Merchant of Steel, we infuse the Pyre Chomper, and then we duplicate it. Yeah. Yeah, I like it, Twitch chat. I like it a lot. Fortunately, we don't have a ton of money for the Merchant of Steel, but we should at least be able to afford Large Stone. Oh my. All right, they're going to be 4 capacity, 0 cost. I don't even think we're going to play the Shardtail Queen anymore. We're just going to have 2 very big Demon Fiends that are going to bonk everything for us. Can't leave for even 2 minutes before Monster Train gets broken. Yeah, that's the way of it. That is the way of it. Heck yeah. Look at this. Look at this guy. The chunkening continues. That's going to punch through everything in the early to mid game. We're looking for quick now. I think I'm just going to give the +10 attack power upgrade. Although we could maybe look to give them better upgrades. When's the next Merchant of Steel that I'm likely to visit? This one? This one. Okay. Maybe we just leave the other slot unupgraded so we can apply quicker multi-strike to the Demon Fiends. It is kind of valuable to upgrade it immediately with both upgrades, because I am going to duplicate the unit. Food for thought. Before we actually commit, though, we should look at the contents of this Wormkin banner and see if there's anything else we might want to think about. For example, instead of what we were going to do, we could create a Glare Minder with +30/+30. So that we have a sweeper. And then we could go large stone, actually. So it'd be 50 attack sweep. I really like the Glare Minder as a unit. Abe Machina says, it seems like you kind of have to break Monster Train or you'll get outscaled hard. More or less, I agree. Can I explain the unit essence? Yes. Yes. The essence of a unit are properties that can be used to apply to another unit, essentially. So at nodes called Divine Temples, only seen with the DLC, you can sacrifice one unit and merge it with another. So what that does is it takes the essence effect, this text here, and applies it to another unit. Darkest Dungeon 2 has been pretty good so far. I think we will be back to it some more in the future. And just to further clarify on the shard cost of duplicating a card costs half of the shard cost of that card. So for infused units, the shard cost is 25. Half of 25 is 12.5. 12.5 rounds up to 15. That's why duping an infused unit costs 15 shards. But the actual math is 25 divided by 2. Fusing a demon should make the recipient a demon. We would lose the benefit of Gurg's Goat if I go for Glare Minder here. That's right, shards are here. It's 15 out of 100. You need to get 100 packed shards to go to the true ending of Monster Train and fight the last divinity. But shards themselves are a penalty to the player. The more shards you have, the stronger enemies are, and the more buffs bosses get. Shards can go over 100, they can go over 200, and there's no limit to how many shards makes bosses stronger. So if you play Monster Train with 200 or 300 shards, you'll see some very terrifying enemies. So it can have either, what, it'll be 75 by 2 Demon Fiends, or you can have Glare Minder with 50 sweep. I feel like we've done a 200 shard successful run before. Maybe even more than that. What's the best way to tell the impact of shard count on enemies? Enemies who are buffed by shards will be physically larger. They will have a purple sheen to them. I'll point them out in the next fight. And extra special abilities. Regular enemies simply have a normal form and an empowered form, whereas bosses get more of a proportional scaling benefit from the shards. Really do like the Glare Miner as a unit. Sweep is such a powerful effect in Last Divinity because of how many enemies per wave you can see. This deck's really going to want to... We should have taken the Ascend card that we saw. Guess with Gurg's Goat I don't want the Glare Miner, huh? Alright, we'll skip this. So, here at the Divine Temple, we use the Engage Pact. Sacrifice one unit and apply its effect to another. So the sacrifice effect of the Pyre Chomper is -4 Ember cost. So if we fuse that with the Demon Fiend, we take the cost from 4 to 0 and just create this unit. Note the purple shard gleam here. This is also what you'll see on enemies, this visual effect. Don't really want to spell chain anything. Make it even bigger. I think we'll leave that unupgraded. So 65 by 2. 4 capacity, 0 cost, 90 HP. That's a beefy boy. Add some free rage onto the Fledgling Imp? Sure. Hit him hard, Fledgling Imp. You do it. You do it. We got another Divine Temple next floor. Okay. You can have another dupe for a while. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how the game determines which enemies to buff with shards each combat. It's completely beyond me. Spikes. Spikes shouldn't be a problem. Our units have 90 hit points. We should be able to absolutely clobber this fight. Simply clobber him. Maybe want to put him up top, though, just to take a little bit less damage from the nonsense units. This fight's all about skipping the middle floor, so what I'm actually going to do is put the Shardtail Queen in the middle, where she'll just serve as an imp summoner each turn. Good for her. Let me kill this front nerd, and I'll put the Demon Fiend up top. Take a little bit less damage from things. He's so big. So big. Lots of foes. So currently this enemy will hit the Pyre for a bit of damage, and I really don't want that. Let's get this out of my deck. Next turn, these 4 units will be on the top floor, and that could be a bit of an issue for us. Nope, it's fine. Perfect. And you can have some rage, even though I don't think it'll matter much. Train Steward on the bottom? Question mark? Might as well. Might as well. Boss ultimately really has very little health compared to the Demon Fiend. And no skipping the middle floor either. Rage Imps, go! No room to play any of these imps on this floor. We might want to take more capacity from the next upgrade or something. But our beefy Demon Fiend will easily clobber this boss. Especially with 12 armor. Look at that. Punch. Mega punched. Zero cost, 5 armor, and 1 charged echo. Not too bad. Not amazing, but not bad. I often find Fortify a little bit below curve. Just doesn't do enough for 1 card. Gonna go all in on Caverns? I don't think so. I think that's a priority here. Let's skip this card reward. I like that you can skip to gain money. Ooh, one of my favorites, Proclamation. For 2 charged echoes, that's the extract 2 keyword. You have to pay 2 charged echoes to play this. Deal 50 damage to the front enemy unit. With an infusion on it, it only costs 1 charged echo, because the card itself provides 1 echo, and you are allowed to use the echo provided by the card to pay for the extract cost. Excellent. And yes, the infusion is randomly applied to rewards. That is this special mechanic of the Wormkin clan, which is the clan added in the DLC. So you won't see infused without DLC because you don't see Wormkin without DLC. And the starting relic talks about that, actually. Wormkin clan always starts with Wormtooth. Your clan starter cards are infused. 1 card in each draft pack will also be infused. What infused actually does is provide 1 charged echo, 1 purple candy, to the floor. How strong are the Wormkin compared to the base clans? I think of them as the strongest clan. They're quite abusable. Between the special charged echo resource and an abundance of powerful consume cards and synergies, the Wormkin clan are pretty dang strong. Minus 2 cost on a spell, huh? Interesting. Guess we should look at the concealed caverns before duplicating. Let's see what the Wormkin unit banner holds. Bog Chrysalis and Keeper of Echoes. Interesting. Don't much like the Bog Chrysalis. 500,000 damage? That's a big number. I think the most damage I've done in this game is about 10,000 at once. Morbun says, I regret the shell units every single time you take them. They're very good with Echo Right and the Marshallord variant. Without Echo Right or without really good shell generation, the egg units can be a little on the weak side. I don't think I'm taking either of these. We're all in on making Gurg's Goad our main way to do stuff. Hef the Blacksmith is here. Oh man, we're offered Spike Driver colonies. Interesting. These are interesting units, or interesting cards. The Rail Spikes are an X-cost spell, and will add a permanent copy of themselves if they kill anything, whereas the Spike Driver colonies are a 0-cost 1-capacity unit with multi-strike, and create a permanent copy when KO'd. It's going to be really good with Rage Imps. Rage Spike Drivers could be quite something. We have yet to master the Spike Driver colony, so it might be worth thinking about. Usually my approach for the Spike Driver colony, you want to infuse this with another unit at a Divine Temple and upgrade it, and then start duplicating it. After you get 4 or more copies, I think the Spike Driver colonies get 10 or 20 additional damage. I don't remember exactly. In Monster Train, you can tell if a card is mastered or not by the card's border. An unmastered card, like Spike Driver Colony, has a generic gray card border. A mastered card will have our unique chosen card border, which you can actually customize. There's quite a few options within the game. Currently, we have this yellow and purple crystal border for mastered cards. Do the spike drivers have an essence? Yes. I don't remember what it is. It might be endless, which would be pretty good for the imp, actually. Sure, I'll take one of these. I think it is endless. And +1/+1. Yes, +1/+1 endless, which is better than most other endless infusions, actually. Do you get mastery if you use a card as an infusion? No. Unfortunately, that will not count. So I could make the Fledgling Imp endless right now. If I wanted to. That's rather tempting. Won't have another Divine Temple for quite a while. I don't think I'm going to do it yet. Got a high enough shard count as it is. First boss is Talos, the Architect. Shouldn't be a problem for us. As our first major boss, Talos is present on the battlefield from the very beginning of combats, which actually leaves her vulnerable to being attacked by our gigantic demon fiends. Good. Let's see, do I do Demon Fiend on the bottom, Shard Tail up top? Sure. Do it this way. Look at him go. Time to smash. It's 25 armor if she kills anything. Actually gonna hurt the Demon Fiend somewhat. How rude. I guess that's fine. Take some damage, Talos. Kerblam. And I guess I'll save 10 health on the 6 health on the Demon Fiend just by playing this here. Sure. Really have no room to play any more units, though. Let the bunketing commence. No room at all here. Yeah, I'm just not going to play any of these units. We would definitely like to get some of the units from this deck removed soon. Excellent. Some damage to Talos there. And then Talos enters the battlefield. And gets pretty hecked. Sufficiently hecked to die. Good work. New trophy. And yes, we have one upgrade slot on each of these two Demon Fiends. Impalate. An unmastered rare card. Deal damage to the front enemy unit equal to 15 times the number of imps in our deck. 120 damage to the front enemy unit. That seems pretty good. I'll take that. It's even infused for us. Heck yeah. And some demons, a steelworker and a rail beater. Or the beefy first of kin unit from the Worm Kid. Are we the baddies? It's kind of odd, right? We're playing the literal forces of hell. With an army of demons at our disposal, fighting off angelic enemies. But the angels are oddly demonic sounding and looking. And are painted as the traitors of the covenant that was signed between heaven and hell. So the angels are kind of the bad guys? We're also definitely the bad guys. All we want to do is get to hell, and they keep raiding our train. How rude. Are any of these good infusions for maybe the Spike Driver colony? What if we started making... I don't have room for this, but what if we started infusing a Spike Driver colony with Steelworker, and then we had Spike Drivers that gave each other 5 armor every turn? I don't think we have capacity for that. I could maybe not play the Demon Fiends in the later parts of the run, though. Food for thought. Divine Temple would have to be here. We really don't have a lot of time to start duping the Spike Drivers, is my issue. I think with the way the Divine Temples are placed, this is not going to work. I skip. So, do we take more capacity? That would let me put imps alongside these demons. Makes having an endless imp more reasonable. Normally I'm in favor of card draw. I'm going to take more capacity on this run. I think we need it. And I think we also want to visit our first Merchant of Magic so that we can upgrade some of these very powerful spells we got. The Impalate and the Proclamation. These are not to be underestimated. Both are very strong here. We also get 2 free removes from an Unstable Vortex, one of the more useful node types in Monster Train. We'd love to go to several of these. I'll probably just go Unstable Vortex. Maybe Hellvent again? Actually, if we got a good spell to dupe, that would be really good at the Hellvent. Dupe one of our spells here. So let's see what our magic upgrades are. Double stack. Could make this shelter armor 4 per charged echo. That's fine, but not amazing. Probably won't spend money on that. Magic power always welcome on Proclamation. Because of the attuned keyword, you get 5 times magic power bonus. Very strong. Go ahead and do that. Spell cost reduction upgrades are also very valuable from the Merchant of Magic. Remove consume. That's a bummer. Alright, well, we can have a 150 damage Proclamation. That's pretty good. No nonsense, very effective. Means we don't have to spend valuable shards on upgrading it with, like, piercing or anything. Yeah, let's just take that. Don't love the upgrades we got here, but they'll do. They'll do. And well, sure, we'll make Impalate free also. And usually my first removals are Train Stewards. These units take up too much space to really be worth playing in most situations. Apex Imp is here with Multi-Strike. When Apex Imp gains armor, it also gains rage. And I have the shelter. Interesting. Yeah, shame about the Steelworker. Is there a clan that can use the stewards effectively? I think of all of them, Melting Remnant can do the best job with stewards. 0 cost if played on the floor with Shardtail Queen. Actually, wait a minute. Wait, logbook. Shardtail Queen. Imp Parade 3 gets a welder helper every turn. That'd be 20 armor, 20 rage. Okay, let's do it. That's awesome. That's awesome. So that's good reason to just keep going down Imp Parade here. Yeah, just don't take Imperialist, because kill all Imp units. Guess what? The Apex Imp is an Imp. Because Apex Imp is also an Imp, guess what? Impalate does 15 more damage now. Okay. It's good to see Shardtail Queen actually doing something useful. And we are going Merchant of Steel next floor. Do I want 100 gold for this node? I might. Can't we make the Apex Imp endless? We could. That's true, actually. Yeah, we could. I don't think that would be all that good, but we could. Empanadas. Love it, Fudgy Biggies. Do we remove Consume on the armor spell? I don't think so, because of Echo Seedling, we'd rather just create 3 copies of it immediately. I'm going to take this cash. I feel like I might need it next floor. For this Merchant of Steel. Probably pay for a removal or 2 on the next combat also. Let's see what happens. Heaven's Seal. Non-boss enemy units heal to full when moving up a floor. Think I can deal with this. I'm pretty sure I can deal with this. This is one of the nastiest trials to take on. Enemies that have huge amounts of health are a serious problem. Enemies that add curses are also a serious problem. Wow. Yeah, this guy, 180 HP. Well, that's one of the problems we have to contend with. This should kill the Absolver here. Yes, they both die. Okay. And we're going to need to use a spell to deal with the Clip Guardian. We can't just punch him for 75 by 2. That'd bring him down to 30 health, but when he goes up to the next floor, he heals all the way back to 180. If this enemy reaches the pyre, we lose completely. So we have to be really careful with that. Ideally drawing a spell. Uh-oh. Proclamation and Impalate are missing. Is the little red X a lethal indicator? Yes. Yes, it is. Oh, I know what I can do. Twitch chat, spot the lethal. How do I kill this giant enemy that's going to ruin our run? That's right, we got to kill our own imp so that we can resummon a new, better imp. That's the way. Most spells in Monster Train can be targeted on either your units or on enemies, even if there's no obvious reason why you'd want to do something like kill your own units. You are allowed to, and sometimes it's really good. Like so. I think we want this in back, because we need the imp to attack the Clip Guardian as well. This will only do 83 by 2. That's not 180. But with the bonus from the imp, we're there. Get him. You go on the bottom, friend. Fiend friend. And again, Rage Imp in back will kill the Absolver and preventing the Stinky Curse from being put on top of the draw pile. Okay, hey, I think we dealt with the trickiness here. This would have been pretty bad otherwise. Good for us. Phew. some of that as a chump blocker and also improve their damage output. We'll put another Rage Imp down here. And I think I'm going to boost the health of this Demon Fiend. Oh, but I see you're still going to stay alive unless I Echo Break you. No, I have to Echo Break you, right? Oh well, I'll just get one curse. That's fine. Take your minus 19. If you must. Alright, who has the most charged echoes? I guess we'd like to get more armor up here, because the bonus is, right? So let's play 2 Queen's Implings up top. And then triple Shelter for a bunch of armor, which will also be a bunch of rage. Just in case that were to matter. Thank you, Echo Seedling. You get more rage. The boss and their curse minions arrive, and here's the damage spells. 210 damage from Impalate, which, by the way, counts the created imps from the Shardtail Queen. So more imps equals more Impalate. The power. Boop. Bop. Take that big damage. Easy peasy. And you know what? Kill that imp, just cuz. Yeah, the imps make heckin' adorable noises. They're ridiculous in this game, and I love them. Izumi Samurai, thanks for the 6 months in the Prime sub. We get an improved firebox for our efforts. That's more Ember on the first turn of battles. Probably won't matter, but nice to have. Ooh. Sacrifice Imp. Not 1, but 2 different options for so doing, even. Important Work kills one of our imp units, which is actually very useful, because our play space does tend to fill up with these imps. Or Impressive. Deal more damage to the front enemy unit. I think we want Important Work for the gain 1 energy, draw 1 effect. Yeah, when in doubt, take the Infuse card is pretty good advice, but I do think this is an Important Work situation. I could even see myself spell chaining that. Also a fan of Return Soul. Take a spell card from the discard pile, put it back into your hand, and infuse it. Lets you replay something important, or do other nonsense. Also adds Consume, which can work with Echo Seedling. Let's take that. Could do some really cool stuff, actually. And we said we wanted to go to this Merchant of Steel, because we have unused upgrade slots on our units. Big time unused upgrade slots on our units. There are 4 different special upgrades you can find in the Merchant of Steel. Quick, which makes your units attack before enemies do. Large Stone makes them bigger with even more stats. Endless means they go back onto the top of the deck after dying. And Multi-Strike adds another attack. Those are all useful in different ways for us here, although I think Large Stone is the one we want the least. Get an Immortal Stone, Endless. So we can make an Imp Endless if we wanted to. Food for thought. Do we want to look at the Concealed Caverns before I do that? No, we want max upgraded units before going to the Concealed Caverns. If you sack the Endless Imp, you'll draw it again immediately, probably Specs. Good question. If you use Important Work on an Endless Imp, you get the Imp back instantly. I'm also going to take an artifact here. Bog Slime. When a card with Consume is played, gain a Charged Echo. One of the most breakable artifacts for the Wormkin clan, in my opinion. We don't have a lot of Consume stuff, but we have a bit. Actually, making one of these Demon Fiends endless doesn't seem like that bad an idea, now that I think about it. 90 health is a lot, but it's not an unlimited amount, and it would be really nice to be able to put them back in play after they get chunked to death. Maybe I'll just make one of the Demon Fiends endless. The one that we were putting on the bottom floor each combat. You know what? Let's do that. I already have a way to make an imp endless if I want to. Do I want to put anything on the Apex Imp from these offerings? Not really. This is a reasonable choice. Sure. Large Stone again. That's a bummer. No quick, no multi-strike. We could make the Demon Fiend even bigger. Double Large Stone Demon Fiend. 80 by 2, 130 health. Or we could Large Stone the Apex Imp to give him higher base health. That means less room for summoning imps on their floor, though, so I don't think we want that. But maybe on the Demon Fiend. Did anyone order an extra large demon? Large Stone Spike Driver Colony is also curious. Maybe not good, but curious. But what about Big Baby Imp? Giant Queen Zimpling. Okay, let's do an extra large Demon Fiend, I guess. Unless we're going to Merchant of Steel here? Instead of Hellvent? Nah. I'd like to Hellvent one of our spells here. Sure, we'll have a 5 capacity Demon Friend. Add some damage to Apex Imp. Yeah. What is the use case for Spike Driver Colony? Duplicating the ever-loving heck out of something that's infused. This run is not really in a good position to use them, but it's absolutely a unit you can break the game with by just spamming a whole bunch of the same unit with some kind of buff. For example, imagine if you infused... Actually, no, the infusion of Keeper of Echoes doesn't work here. Will self-duping colony add shards? No. That's part of the power of it. Even if the unit has an infusion, creating additional copies will not give you more shards. Not planning on actually using the Spike Driver, so I don't think I'm going to upgrade it. I am glad we took that extra $100, though. Oh, this event. Take the Abandoned Stave. 1 Ember per turn for every 2 Blight cards in the deck. Or take 3 Calcified Ember Curses and get upgraded versions later. Actually, those upgraded versions are really strong with the Wormkin clan. We'd have to lug some curses around for a couple of battles, but I think we can manage. Sure. Remove the Ember deposits from the pile and place them into the Bone Shaker. They may be a burden now, but they could prove useful later on. All we have to do is get through the Arcus fight intact. It'll be fine, right? Totally. How's it going, Dog Barker? It's Monster Train time. Heck yeah. Not afraid of Armor 15. Not even a little bit. Extra big. Put extra big boy in the middle here. Endless boy on the bottom. That's what we decided. Wow. So I could play this for 3 to get rid of it permanently, but I don't want to do that. Because we want it to turn into the upgraded version later. He's so big! 150 damage Impalate. Oh, and I can do the thing? Oh, I love the thing. Okay. Let's do the thing. What's the thing, you might ask? Well, The thing is using Return Soul to get a really good card out of the discard pile, and then having Echo Seedling make more copies when I play them. 2 more Impalates, please. Some Rage. Okay, we're just going to keep these for now. I don't feel like I need them. Hello, gigantic friend. How are you? You have sweeps, so you're going to kill them either way. Angie. Minus 11 out of 17. We can't quite finish this Quill Marksman. I guess that's fine. I have 6 armor. Buff you, actually. Big Rage. Nothing much happening up there yet, that's fine. And the boss dies to our bottom floor. No need for the extra big demon. Launch. Heck yeah. Alloy of the Ancients, apply armor 25. That's a yes on Apex Imp. Dark Deal can also apply more rage. It's 0 cost and infuse, which is kind of nice, but it's no Alloy of the Ancients. Soul Crushing Guilt. Apply Dazed to a unit and move it to the back. This can be important for dealing with the final boss, the Last Divinity. Broken Memories can also be kind of good, letting us get a consumed spell back. But I'm definitely a Soul Crushing Guilt believer here. Dazing bosses is really important in the late game. One of the most powerful cards the Worm can have access to, in my opinion. Good for double stack, too. Costs 3 echoes, but we should be able to afford that pretty easily. We're going to go this way, we said. Minus 2 cost on a spell. Don't have any spells that are high enough cost for that to be worth it. I think we are going to sack the Spike Driver Colony, question mark? Or maybe I'm just going to try to keep one in the deck that I never play. That, too, is reasonable. I'm not going to need Endless Imps when I'm just getting 2 per turn, huh? Okay, don't stress it then. We do need to get at least 5 more shards from one of these temples, though. Can you double stack on a spell? I don't think so. Should probably go Merchant of Magic, Merchant of Magic. That seems very, very viable for the last couple of floors. So yeah, we could put Value Stone on Alloy of the Ancients and hope for double stack. That's reasonable. That'd be quite powerful, actually. Let's see what the Concealed Caverns have first. Which of the train's pyre shards do we relight? Get a Heartstone, which can go onto any unit. Restore pyre health if the pyre kills anything. Pretty hard to do. Or all friendly units get 10 more health and are heartless, meaning they cannot be healed. We have no healing in this deck, so a broad plus 10 to everybody's health is actually pretty good. Although it will make it more difficult for us to kill our own imps with spells. That could be a bit of a problem. Note that being unable to heal, it's not like Slay the Spires, you cannot heal. Things that increase your max health, like Echo Infusion, will still give the benefit. It's not a heal, indeed. This will still work. Endless will also work just fine. They'll be back to full health. So Petrified Heart works here, but the issue is that maybe we don't like the fact that imps get tougher. In which case, let's grab a Heartstone, add 25 health to a unit. Note that we can use this to go over the normal cap of upgrades. So what if I had a 155 health Demon Fiend? See, big. Speaking of big, Biggins, thanks for 20 months of support. Another inch added. Okay, let's do the -2 cost on the Alloy of the Ancients. We'll see if it works. Gramick just finished getting heart kills with every character. Congrats. Finished off with Watcher on A6. Well done, well done. Inspire. How does Fairy Potion work with Cannot Heal? You'll simply die ignominiously with a Fairy in a bottle in your belt. It does not work. Does not work. This could be a reasonable dupe, actually, but I think what I am going to dupe is Impelate. Double Impelate. Maybe even triple Impelate later. How's it going, Drake? This is a spoiler-free Zelda zone. Who is Zelda? Zelda, I believe, is an elf-looking fellow in a green tunic with a sword and a shield. That's Zelda. Let's fight Archus with 95 shards. Arcus is a... Again, we're the good guys. As an angel, Arcus is a black and dark blue, four-winged, shackled creature with a sword that has a skull on it. You know, like angels do. Despite his intimidating appearance, Arcus is actually just here to play Simon Says with us. Simon Says, don't summon any units on the middle floor. You got it, Arcus. Essentially what happens is this boss summons a Dark Shard, these cool-looking cubes, onto the battlefield each turn. Each Dark Shard essentially forbids a certain type of action on that floor, with a penalty for you should you break the rule. So this Dark Shard says, if you summon any units on the middle floor, they get dazed. That's not very fun. Oh. So you have Spell Shield. That's right, I can't even play this without doing this first. A boopity. Boppity. We can survive the Arcus fight. I think we're going to be good for the rest of the run because we're going to have a lot of power spike happening after this battle. We'll get another major boss reward. We're going to convert the calcified embers. And some other stuff too. Spell Shield. Excuse you. Oh, I haven't found Apex Imp yet. Heck. That's fine, I guess. So now, no playing spells on the middle floor, with the penalty being that all your spells get permanently more expensive. Well, permanently for the fight. Spike Driver Colony is just here to watch. We actually had a really good Spike Driver Colony run a while back, but I threw it versus sweeping enemies. What a shame. So again, we don't want to kill our own imp and resummon it on the bottom floor, because the Dark Shard says there's a penalty for that. So don't bother summoning any units this turn. And now we don't want to play spells on the top floor. Here's the colony. Have some more rage. Wait, no. Have some more rage. 106 by 2, just enough to kill both of these fools. Although I should have actually put this imp in front. Oh well. And excellent. Here's Return Soul. So what we're going to do is Return Soul, return Alloy of the Ancients to my hand. This gives 25 armor to the Apex Imp. We still haven't played a Consume card, so guess what? 75 armor, 75 rage on this Apex Imp, who now deals 176 by 2 attack power with 90 HP. Beefy. Let's keep buffing the Apex Imp. No spells. But the penalty for playing the spell is that other spells in hand get more expensive, so if there's only one spell in hand, there's no penalty. Oops. You were supposed to die. Might be. Easy. So we can stun Arcus for 3 turns. That'll help because of Arcus is entering the battlefield next turn. So let's stun Arcus. Buff you more. Arcus has no minions on his wave. Just Arcus themselves. Oh, and you're going to get Soul Crushing Guilted again. That's a bummer. 5 turns of daze, which means this unit gets 5 free attacks. I bet we can just kill outright if I chump block with his Fledgling Imp. Not quite. Minus 1743 out of 1826. Actually, hold on. There we go. Easy. The Gorilla Slap of Death. Who even needs an Apex Imp, right? Punch. And yes, GamerCat, what I really, really like about Monster Train is that it has a more or less flawless pre-battle calculation. You're shown the exact health change on every unit, which in a game with so many triggered and interacting effects is very, very helpful in, one, learning how the mechanics work in the first place, and having more consistent understanding of what's going on every turn. Another Impalate. Alternately Perfect Insanity. For 6 charged echoes, we can apply minus 666 health to one enemy unit. Particularly good on bosses, but also useful for instantly killing the mini-bosses in the last Divinity fight. I think we have enough charged echo generation to make this work. It's also not mastered, as you can see by that plain gray border, so I think we take Insanity over Impalate for that reason. Would be Impalate. Alright, card draw is going to be the next pick. Card draw is pretty tough to come by in Monster Train. Not a lot of artifacts that provide it, whereas it's really easy to get Ember for a variety of sources. So I tend to pick Herzl's Compound on most of my runs, that middle blue option, for the additional draw each turn. Does this give you hope? You'll see these events periodically if you've got enough shards. You're offered a Divine Artifact, a one-time boost for the next combat. If you really don't care about these options, you can also skip for 25 gold, which I might do, although Divine Trader's Quill will make the next fight a lot easier. 60 damage every time we consume a card. Let's do that. It's going to make the trial in the final combat a lot easier to take. And for completing 2 fights with those deadweight embers, we convert calcified ember into excavated ember. So these are instead now 0-cost consume cards that say gain 2 ember, draw 1. And yes, that does work with the Echo Seedling and the Bog Slime. So these will give me 1 charged Echo, and the first time I play one, I'll get 2 more copies, which I may or may not want. And we're going to the Merchant of Magic, so we want to upgrade some of our stuff. Note that these excavated embers are spells and can actually be upgraded. You can even remove consume from them, which is kind of cool. Let's see, check the Divine Temple first. We've got 30 magic power and intrinsic. Intrinsic means it appears in the opening hand, which could be good for Alloy of the Ancients. Although I have no guarantee of drawing Apex Imp turn 1, so I don't think I actually want that. Luigi Head, thanks for the full year of content and support. Much love. Permafrost. Means the card would retain. Permafrost on Perfect Insanity and on Soul Crushing Guilt seem pretty good to me. Don't mind adding Consume onto an Echo Break. Does Apex Imp have draw priority? Yes. Shared by all banner units here. So the priority units, or draw priority units in this deck are the Double Demon Fiend and the Apex Imp. That means we could see Apex Imp as late as turn 3. We draw Demon Fiend turn 1, Demon Fiend turn 2, Apex Imp turn 3. Yeah, let's put Permafrost on Perfect Insanity. I guess I'll put a Surge Stone on one of these Echo Breaks. There it is, double stack. The Alloy of the Ancients, the cost doesn't go up because we gave it -2 cost. Double stack Soul Crushing Guilt's also, like, really strong. But we'll do Alloy of the Ancients. Oh yeah. I don't really care about spell power here. I'm gonna save the money. Yeah, these are all kind of whatever. Paying for some purges might be wise. Also, now that we have Imp Parade 3, the Apex Imp's really going to start carrying, because every armor the Apex Imp gets equals additional rage. Very strong. Very, very strong. Let's pay for a purge or 2. Get rid of some of these basic Echo Breaks. Could also see removing the Queen's Implings at this point, although doing that would lower the power of the Impalate cards. For Apex Imp, armor to rage is per total applied. So the more armor you give, the more rage you get. That means 50 armor is 50 rage. In rage equal to gained armor, is the phrasing. Yeah, I'm hoping we can get holdover on important work from this Merchant of Magic. Hell, we could even have double holdover important work with a Hellvent. Although I don't know if I want to do that. Currently thinking about duplicating Impalate again. There's some good options. I think that's all we need for this this ring. We're going to take the Divine Horde to get over 100 pack shards. We do need to do that in order to actually fight the last divinity. It is possible to put yourself into a situation where you can no longer get enough pack shards to actually fight the final boss. So that is something to keep in mind as you play your runs. Alright, I guess we'll just get 3 Excavated Embers to start. That's underwhelming, but fine. Oh yeah, and the freaking Trader's Quill is going to go nuts here. Five damage to your front unit, you say? Cute. Big. Very big. Oh, there's the Ally of the Ancients, but no Apex Imp, actually. That's kind of bad. We even drew Return Soul, so I can't even return it to my hand. Slight awkwardness ensues. Six charged echoes. It's insanity time. Blah. Get that nerd out of here. This be 75 by 2. That'd be just enough to kill. But if you get the kill, I don't get to do that. Okay, so we put it in the back here. Do I just want to use the Alloy of the Ancients now? Yeah, let's just use it now. Put it on you. Save some health that way. Okay, Apex Imp goes in the front. And our job is to play Welder Helpers, which give armor and rage to that Apex Imp each turn. We also need to make room for the next Welder, so we gotta kill it with our own spells, for the most part. Fortunately, this Demon Fiend is endless. This is why we put endless on the Demon Fiend, is that the late-game enemies do tend to do enough damage that surviving, even with 100 hit points, becomes a bit of an issue. Nobody I want to daze at the moment. Okay, that's fine. No sign of Impalate yet. There we go. Impalate. 225 damage, because it's getting the scaling off of the additional imps the Shorttail Queen is creating. So just go, boop. You're dead. Also, dead down here as well. And the fact that everything is dying on the bottom row is pretty good, actually. So I'll just let that happen. Oh no, not my Demon Fiend. Oh, he's fine. 255 damage. What would I like back here? I guess Impalate. Easy money. Become bigger. My child. Here, you have some armor. No infused cards here, so I can't play the Perfect Insanity. For shame. Play this, though. Have some rage. Some rage and armor. Seems fine. Okay, we can do pretty substantial damage by simply dazing this enemy. 1,120. That's pretty good. Somewhat impressive that the boss actually did make it to the top. Kabonk. GG. Impish Scholar returns a random consumed spell to our hand. That could be pretty strong. Don't necessarily want more imps, though. Branding Right's kind of interesting, too. Deal 5 damage with piercing to apply armor 20. We can use that once on the Apex Imp. Actually, more times if I Echo Infusion. Yeah, I'll take a Branding Right. Sure. And Broken Memories can return consume spells. That'll do. Soul Siphon could also give us charged echoes, but I don't think it's quite as good. Alright, our last shop here. Got 715 gold. Holdover is here for the important work. That's great news. Let's see what trinkets are available also. Serrated Mandibles. When echoes are added to a floor, apply Reap to a random enemy unit twice. Better in the early game than in the late game. I don't think it's quite that good here. Probably pay for the reroll. None of these seem like they're worth spending 200 bucks on. We need 5 more shards, that's right. And we're going to get those 5 more shards from this. Draw 10 on turn 1. That's 4 additional cards to use with our huge Ember turn 1. Perfect. There we go. 110 pack shards. Apply 4 additional stacks of armor each time it is applied. Which means more rage on the Apex Imp. Heck yes. The Rail Hammer. Good stuff. We need more Ember. We could take Hell's Banners. I don't think we need that, though. Is the Spike Driver ever useful? Definitely. The Spike Driver is a 1 capacity unit with multi-strike, and that alone is really, really valuable. The idea with this unit is that you give it large stat buffs via a couple of different options. In particular, the Melting Remnant with Reform can really abuse this thing. But simply giving it some decent upgrades or a decent infusion from a Divine Temple can make it quite strong also. I think that's only +4 on the double-stacked card. So, yeah, Armor 54 on Alloy of the Ancients. Yeah, this is what we put important work on. Anything else need a cost reduction? You do. And a reroll. 1 more double stack. Heck yeah. Double stack that Soul Crushing Guilt. Just do it. Don't even question it. Just do it. And make all of the Echo Breaks consume? Is that a good thing? Probably. Probably. So, do I duplicate important work? That's my question. Yeah, we might as well. Give those imps some jorbs. Get a job. Alright, it's on to our penultimate battle. Here's Seraph. If you're not playing with the DLC or you don't have 100 pack shards, this is your final boss, kind of like Time Eater or Awaken One or Donudeka Inspire. It could be your final boss, but I don't consider them as such. Oh my. Cool, we got Apex Imp and Shardtail Queen turn 1. That's good news. Oh yeah, the Apex Imp also gets more armor initially, because it does have 5 armor as part of its base property, and that also gets affected by Railhammer. Very good. Kill them. Kill them all. Don't play this or this. I think I might wait on the Excavated Embers. Kill you. Good. Yeah, we'll wait on the Excavated Embers here. I don't want that to be the card I'm multi-duplicating. Multiplying. Are you sure about that? I'm pretty sure about that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. You'll be a problem if you don't die. Okay, don't play any of this either, then. It's a slight issue. Any of these cards would be good in triplicate? Not really. Yeah, this will be fine. This will be fine. Still think this is correct. Okay. Alright, so the reason we haven't been playing our consume cards thus far is because we want to be able to multi-alloy the Ancients on this turn. Lots more armor and rage on our Apex Imp here. Just make sure we have room first. Looks like our Demon Fiend on the bottom is dying. That would be a problem if they weren't endless. But they are endless, so it's not a problem. Not really. Here, have 162 rage. That's an angry boy. Here. Have some days. We can now play these Echo Breaks too, right? That's right. Yeah, casual 562 times 2. No biggie. No biggie. Meepa. That's right, Seraph removes his own days. That's true. He's also going to take 138 rage off the Apex Imp because this Seraph is a jerk. Every turn, this Seraph will choose one floor and cut all buffs in half on our own units, half debuffs on his own Seraph's units. It's pretty rude. Pretty rude. How would you like to get perfect insanity in Seraph? Lose 666 health. Also, I have a new Demon Fiend. Friend. Demon Friend. Return a consumed spell to the top of the draw pile. I'll be taking this one back. I Perfect Insanity a second time. I can have it in my hand, at least. Ooh, na-na. Glad we added the Apex Imp. I don't think the Demon Fiends on their own would have been quite enough for this deck. Not quite. $315 damage. How convenient. Do another 600 to Seraph there. Why not? Have more armor. And it foolishly, the soundtrack is definitely one of the things that keeps me coming back to Monster Train. Such jams. Okay, so Seraph has entered the Relentless phase. It is going to begin directly attacking stuff. Apex Imp can easily solo Seraph at the moment. It's pretty telling. Alright. How does that work? Am I still going to draw this next turn? Because I played it already this turn. Yes, I do get them both back. It left the discard pile and went back into my hand. That's cool. That's really cool. Even more armor. Guess we just impalate up here. That's what you need for Spires. The turn 1 boss kill, says T Green. Any tips? Chat's pointing you in the right direction with Watcher, definitely. One of your best options for turn 1 boss kill is Slime Boss, believe it or not. If you can get a Watcher run in Act 1 with Slime Boss, and you remove most of your defend cards, get a damage potion or two, a fire potion, a vulnerable potion, an attack potion, something like that, and draw Wrath on turn 1, it's definitely possible to outright kill Slime Boss turn 1 relatively easily. Any kind of infinite combo works pretty well also. Second easiest boss to turn 1 kill is arguably the Awakened one in Act 3. You only need to kill the first phase of the Awakened one for a turn 1 kill, so doing 320 damage in one turn at the end of Act 3 is not unreasonable, again, for Watcher. Have some days. Days for days. No damage. Could lose if I click this on the wrong unit. I'm just going to enter it here. Let's not lose. Get bonked, sir. And yes, lower Ascension is going to be easier for getting a turn 1 boss kill also. Alright, the last divinity is on all 3 floors of the train at the same time, which makes it a persistent threat throughout the fight. We did get turn 1 Apex Imp. Everything else is questionable here. Top floor has Sweep. Bit awk. I think I'd like to put Apex Imp and Short-Tail Queen on top. Actually, we could go middle floor, perhaps. Perhaps that is more reasonable here. Because I don't want the sweep to hit the Shard-Tail Queen. Then I guess we put the Endless Demon Fiend on the bottom and the big one on the top. I do have important work already. This is a little tricky. If we can't get the armor up quickly on Apex Imp, we'll die before we even get started. I don't like that. That makes me want to put Apex Imp on top. Shard-Tail Queen can survive. 3 turns if I Echo Infusion her. And that should be long enough to find our soul-crushing guilt, which will prevent top floor divinity from sweeping anymore. I think I'm going to set up Apex Imp on top. Let's see what this draws. Okay, Excavated Ember. I'm probably going to play that because we can't be affording to wait here. We need to draw as deep as we can, as quickly as we can. There it is. Okay, that's good. That's good. We found it early. That's good. That's pretty good. All right, in that case, you're going to go in the middle. You're going to go on the bottom. And I can play these Echo Breaks too. That's good news. I want to break through these damage shields also. Those enemies are killed. He just puts this imp on the top floor to die. So I don't have to look at it again. You get the armor, start dealing damage. That's a lot of damage per turn. This Apex Imp is going to kill the last divinity pretty quickly here. I'd say that was a dang good turn 1. That should be more than adequate here. You missed the Spire? No, you didn't. This is our first Monster Train run of the day. We'll be doing another one after this, and then probably Spire after that. Casual 14 energy turn 1, yeah. Goes to the discard pile? Okay, another Echo Infusion buys us one more turn with a Shardtail Queen. It's not a lot, but it's something. This floor getting wiped is a bit awkward. I don't love that. They all have Spell Shield, so I can't even use the Echo Break. Spooky. Crappy imps. Definitely a bit of an issue, huh? Get back Echo Infusion to keep the Shardtail Queen alive a little longer. Sure. Let's play the colony. I'm a little worried about our ability to clear the waves. Okay, we can Broken Memories to return a consumed spell. Get back Alloy of the Ancients is one option. Probably my best option at the moment. All the good damage stuff is in the draw pile. A little concerning still. I'd rather draw the random cards off the top then. Slightly worried here. Okay, that helps. 150 damage to the front. So then I can weaken you. Good. Okay, play this here. Perfect Insanity. If I broken memories, I can play that on this floor. I should probably just kill one of these Clipped Guardians. Oh, actually, no. What we should do is save this. And use it on the mini-boss, which is coming in, I think, next floor, next turn. So let's get back, what? Probably Alloy of the Ancients. Yeah, Alloy of the Ancients feels right. That's true, the Apex can just kill the mini-bosses for us. Maybe it is the waves that are more pressing of a concern. This wave's kind of nasty. Got some issues with that at the moment. Yeah, there's the mini-boss, but yes, the Apex Imp will just kill that, so... No real biggie. Looks like the Shardtail Queen gets an important kill here. Still haven't seen our Soul-Crushing Guilt. This is kind of spooky. Alright, the armor on the Clip Reflector doesn't matter here. There it is. Okay, you are dazed forever. Please don't do anything anymore. Which means we don't need the armor on the Queen anymore, either. What I should have done was Shelter before I did that. It's still fine. You're almost dead? That's not great. Although we've gotten through some of the tougher waves. This is a little problematic. Ooh, Return Soul. Some fun options we can do with that. Definitely some fun stuff we can do with Return Soul. That's 255. Reasonable to use it up top so we can do some extra damage to the boss. If our demons are dying. You could prevent a curse by dazing Chains Sighted. I don't think that's a big deal, though. I want to do this instead. Let's do that. Okay, mini-boss gets destroyed. This wave's another problem wave. Can you kill? Yeah, good. Good work. Also good work. Spell shield on everybody is a little annoying, but we can still wipe out the front unit here, which is pretty important. So I think we go Proclamation Impalate down here. I could also do Proclamation Impalate up here. Although currently we're able to kill 3 enemies from this wave. So already the top floor is wiping this wave. We don't need that. Okay. Down to the bottom then. Looks like we're good here. Very promising. We got a couple delightful card masteries out of this run. And a new clan combo win. I love it. Although one should not count their chickens before they have hatched. So the saying goes. Doesn't do squat, doesn't do squat. So maybe I shouldn't play Proclamation. Okay, don't do it. So Crushing Guilt is back. That can also help. Do some damage, friend. Demon friend. Actually, don't have that many infused cards left, huh? Just double Impalate, apparently. Which are excellent draws. Yeah, this enemy's going to get to the Pyre currently. That's not very good. Real close to just winning, though. The damn spell shields. Yeah, all the spell shields on this fight. Like, every floor has spell shield. That's pretty ridiculous. Even the last divinity has spell shield on the bottom floor. I think we just keep focusing on top here. We might even be able to kill the divinity early if I do this right. And I have one Impalate to use somewhere else. Just use it for a charged Echo up top. Let's hit you. There's a Spike Driver colony in this deck. Yeah, we never ended up using it. I'm just carrying it around so we can master it. It's actually kind of okay if this wave just gets to the Pyre. I think the Pyre can solo this wave. This wave's more of a problem. Here's Impopulate once again. No spell shields on the bottom here is pretty good. So I can actually wipe the bottom wave pretty well. That bottom wave never makes it to the top floor. That's right, we enter Relentless next turn, right? So, not a concern. So I think we win. That's my understanding anyway. Two curses here. Not the biggest of deals, though. Since they're only in play for essentially one turn. X says the Divinity. That means we win. Good stuff. GG. Guess I'll stop playing cards and take the win. Excellent. An impressive win. Wow, 800 times 2 sure kills the Divinity quickly. GG. GG. Mr. Divinity.